Hello my friends, I have just ridden my 100th unique coaster ever. Now, first things first, how are you guys pronouncing this? I've been saying Candymonium, just Candymonium, just rolling. And a lot of people I've overheard saying it, like it's back here, Candymonium. Emphasis on the Y there, Candy. Let me know how you're pronouncing this, because I've heard even employees saying it both ways. Candymonium, Candymonium. Let's talk about the ride itself. It is a B&M hypercoaster, which, much like my beloved Nitro, is really well known for its airtime. There is a Hershey Kiss fountain that's supposed to be open, and that's going to be phenomenal when the Helix does go around there. However, right now, it was still a phenomenal ride. I'm going to throw up my ride photo here, where, because of social distancing, I rode on it on my own. And it was really nice, to be honest. I had a good time. If I had any basis of comparison with this, it wasn't Nitro, believe it or not. Because of the majority of the time being just focused on the airtime and the layout with the terrain around here, I would compare it actually more to something like Slinky Dog Slash at Hollywood Studios. It is very much a nice family coaster. And to me, I giggled like an idiot on it. So you guys are probably wondering, why Candymonium for your 100th credit? Well, to be honest, I will admit, I didn't plan it this way, especially with a certain coaster called the Jersey Devil Coaster and RMC Raptor opening up, or it was intended to open up this year over at Six Flags Great Adventure, which is my home park. However, things happened, as you might know, and unfortunately plans had to change. So unintentionally, it just worked out that Candymonium now is my 100th coaster and will forever be my 100th coaster, which I'm okay with that. For a little bit, I wasn't sure how to feel about it, but you know what? It gives me a good feeling to have something new in 2020 to ride, because there was a lot of plans, and I know each one of you probably had plans that had to change, so I am okay with this. I am happy with this, I will say. Candymonium, 100th credit. I had a lot of fun with it. Hershey did an amazing job with Candymonium. I think I'm about to walk by a speaker, sorry about that. Hershey did a phenomenal job with this, especially with the expansion that it required and everything like that. That's tough. Like, it involved Chocolate Town and all this other stuff going on. Basically an entire new entrance. It pushed the entrance of the park all the way back, which was smart in my opinion, because they widened it and made it that much better to accommodate the new guidelines that are in place for security for all of the COVID-19 measurements that are in place. Other than that, I'm over here now by the fountain, and I'm just getting another look here at the track. I wonder what, like, landscaping wise, what all this dirt is going to be eventually, because it goes pretty far back. I'm going to walk a little bit closer here so you can actually see. Second hill is all the way back here. So just pointing that out, because there is a lot of bare dirt right now, and I'm wondering how they're going to fill this in as time goes on. It's just going to lead to a better experience, in my opinion, because as you know, like, over my basis of comparison is Nitro over at Six Flags Great Adventure, and that one goes into the woods basically, and it's really cool. So I could foresee something like that happening here, just like kind of how it creeps along the edge of the woods over there. And then when you're almost done, you come to this little section here. So really appreciate all of this and all the airtime and everything, and really happy that this just kind of turned out the way it did. So if you guys were interested in just about my thoughts on Candymonium, that's pretty much all I have right now. I am going to ride it a bit more in different rows, and I should have mentioned my first ride was in the fourth row, and then my second ride was in the last row. Fourth row was actually kind of my favorite, I won't lie. You didn't get quite as much airtime, but you didn't also get like that last row whip, whatever you want to call it. So it's towards the end of the day, so I guess it was a little bit aggressive. Anyway, that was my final thought on Candymonium. So I wanted to talk about the other roller coasters that I've ridden before getting here to 100, and some of the highlights of that journey in my time riding roller coasters. And the very first one that I rode was Batman the Ride, the inverted roller coaster over at Six Flags Great Adventure, which I do know is a clone, and whatever. It's still a pretty awesome experience. Other than that, there's certain types of roller coasters that, because my home park was Six Flags Great Adventure, I always fell in love with, which was like the B&M Hyper, Nitro, anything that's styled like Bizarro, aka Medusa, when I first rode it. Memorable for me was something called the Chiller, which was a dual launch roller coaster that only operated for like a year or so. That was amazing when it worked, but I think that only worked very briefly. The Great American Scream Machine, one with that roller coaster was pretty rickety at the end, pretty painful, but man, that brought a lot of good memories. The pretzel roll over at Ultimate Flight, Superman Ultimate Flight, one of my most favorite elements that I've ever experienced. And then Kingda Ka, I know it's kind of a one-trick pony, but the experience of going that fast and then dropping that from that height, there's nothing that can compare. And it excites me that I still have not yet experienced something like Top Thrill Dragster. Meanwhile, even here we have Storm Runner, which is a similar type of Intamin style. That one is not so much a one-trick pony, which is mostly speed. That one actually has some unique elements, which is cool to see, you know, something that was familiar to me, the launch system, the LIM launch system. The Great Bear here is really, it's probably one of my favorites here. And a solid one. I love the way that it goes around the terrain, especially the water, and interacts with Super Duper Looper. Going back to Six Flags Great Adventure, the final one that I must mention is probably my favorite roller coaster that I've been on, which is El Toro. Now I know a lot of people say it's aggressive and blah, there's a lot of complaints about it, but that thing has my heart, and I don't know what it is about it exactly. Going on with roller coasters that I've been to only a few times or even once, Canada's Wonderland, Yukon Striker was awesome. That is a dive coaster. I got to go on that twice, and each time it was really good. It was a very memorable experience. The most memorable roller coaster for me was Leviathan. I don't know how to describe how I felt about Leviathan exactly. It was just good. That was like one of the best experiences. I've only got to ride it once, and it still left an impression on me, which says a lot. Going south here and going towards Six Flags New England, Wicked Cyclone. Oh, Wicked Cyclone. The only RMC coaster that I've been on. I mean, I'm not counting El Toro. I know RMC was involved. Don't get technical with me. Speaking of Six Flags New England, there's a few there that are a lot of fun. I think that's where they have Superman the Ride, or is it Superman Man of Steel? I get the one at New England and the one in America confused, and I'm doing this completely off the cuff, so feel free to correct me, but I think it's just Superman the Ride. And lastly was the Batman the Dark Knight, which reminds me a lot of Bizarro. That roller coaster has some amazing elements and is one of the only roller coasters that I actually have a 6x8 printed out of. I could talk about one of the most painful roller coasters that's at Six Flags New England, which is Goliath, and that's the only one that I nearly blacked out on. It was just readjusting my spine the entire time. The other one is the Mind Eraser, or now I think it's Riddler Revenge. Another brutal one. So I do remember some of the jank as well. I could probably make a top 10 jankiest roller coaster video that I've been on, and maybe someday I will. I see security is starting to come through, so I'm gonna start making my way outside the park. So I just exited the park, and because you have to go through the gift shop, I noticed they have nano coasters, and I couldn't say no to getting a nano coaster of my 100th coaster. So the Candymonium nano coaster. And I'm also a sucker for nano coasters. I have the ones that were released at Six Flags Great Adventure, but not any others yet, because I haven't really had the opportunity to go to many other parks. Hopefully, at some point I can make Cedar Point a thing, but right now, that's tough. So where were we? I think we were on janky roller coasters, so someday I will make a top 10 janky roller coaster thing. Hold me accountable for that. Someday I'm going to do that. The other roller coasters, I've been working my way down here. Dorney Park Steel Force is amazing. Hydra, I really like that inversion that's right at the beginning. I know it has an official title, but once I hit record, my brain starts to go blank, so I'm sorry about that. What else is there? Talon, it's a lot of fun. But going out to Coney Island, the Cyclone. That thing is just phenomenal. I love it. I've ridden it at least once a year. The rest of it is kind of okay. Thunderbolt kind of holds a little bit in my memory, but for the most part, it's all Zamperla stuff. I notice there's a crowd developing behind me, so I'm gonna change locations real quick and we'll continue on. All right, so after Coney Island, I think I should mention also those two small parks in Connecticut, Quasi and Lake Compounce. Boulder Dash. holy moly, that is a wooden roller coaster that rivals so many other wooden roller coasters. The way it runs in the terrain, that is a very memorable, definitely top 20, if not in my top 10. However, in my bottom 10 is Wildcat. Oh my gosh, that thing was so brutal. And I think there's another one there called Phobia or something, or Phobia Fear Coaster. Like, it has a name that I can't remember. But then over at Quasi, it's the Wooden Warrior, which was the giggle fest for me. I was just laughing like an idiot. Gravity Group makes amazing roller coasters, but Wooden Warrior is like my honorable mention for like the most fun roller coaster that I've had. That's like the least complicated, just lots of fun. It's not thrilling per se, it's just fun, which I'm okay with. All right, then we keep moving south. Six Flags America, Batwing. Holy moly, that thing, is that called the Flying Dutchman or something like that? I know it's a flying roller coaster, or you lay down on it. It's wild stuff, and I haven't seen anything like it, and I think that's because there's only a few of them in existence. As far as the other rides there, I'm trying to think. Wild One is actually really fun. For a wooden roller coaster that's been around forever, it's been well taken care of. Roar is another wooden roller coaster that's been well taken care of there. They have their own Mind Eraser, which that SLC is painful. That's the only word I have for those SLCs. What else was there? Oh my gosh, there's Firebird, the stand-up roller coaster converted into the sit-down style. The other unique roller coaster that they have there is Joker's Jinx, which is like this. It's a launch into this big pile of track spaghetti. For one of the first roller coasters and only roller coasters that made me dizzy, because it just keeps going to the left, and it's wild. I feel like I'm missing one more. Oh, the Superman ride. I think that's Man of Steel. I'm not sure, but I get these freaking DC themed roller coasters at Six Flags mixed up constantly. But that one is decent. It's not as good as the one at Six Flags New England, but that one's okay. So I think going south means going all the way south to Florida, to Orlando. It's Universal has that Incredible Hulk, which I absolutely love. As far as theming and everything goes, though, I have to go over to Animal Kingdom. My favorite themed roller coaster is Expedition Everest. That thing, even though, yes, the Yeti does not move and all they do is a strobe effect, the rest of the roller coaster, especially when you get launched backwards, that thing is intense, and it's just one of the best rides that I've been on when you factor in the theming and all of that around it. As far as the other roller coasters there, I'm actually personally not a big fan of Space Mountain. I do like Big Thunder's theming and how you kind of flop all around, even though it's kind of a kiddie family roller coaster. But my favorite family coaster that's there on property is Slinky Dog Dash. That thing, like Wooden Warrior, is just a giggle machine. And add on the theming of Toy Story and the way that you get launched and the lighting and the views and all of that stuff is just such a completely fun ride. So much so that during an after hours event, I rode that like a dozen times. At SeaWorld Orlando, I did go on Manta, and the way that thing interacts with the water and the environment is just perfect. I mean, I did get my socks wet if I remember right, so I'm knocking points for that. I think now I just go over to California and Disneyland. Incredicoaster was really awesome. Wish I had been able to ride it as California Screaming. The retheming was pretty cool. The launch is really awesome. The way it interacts with everything and that inversion is just, they make a meal out of it, and I really love that about it. Then over at Disneyland, Space Mountain there is probably the most superior Space Mountain. I haven't been at the one at Disneyland Paris, but as far as other roller coasters go, the Big Thunder Mountain there is a lot of fun because they have like projections and stuff like that, so they're really unique for different reasons. I think I might have finally gone through all the roller coasters that were notable to me in the last couple of years of riding roller coasters. Now I have a lot of work to do, I know, because there's some of you guys that have lots and lots of credits. So hopefully one day I can catch up to you guys. I'm gonna start heading out here, but thanks for like letting me just kind of talk to you guys about the roller coasters I've been on. Let me know what's your favorite that you've been on. I'm in the Jersey, New York area, so there's quite a bunch in the Jersey Shore and stuff that I'm looking forward to checking out. I definitely want to head down the coast to Busch Gardens, Williamsburg, and also to King's Dominion, maybe Carowinds, and hopefully Cedar Point at some point. that'll be a thing. But for now, guys, thank you so much for watching. 100 credits, Candymonium. A lot of fun. See you next time. And I hope you go make your own adventure. Bye.